So for everyone, it is completed almost, right? So then you know the basics of it. Then we'll have a discussion session rather than me teaching something. Okay.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Let's have a discussion.
Did
I'll
you
start
call
with,
me?
yeah, I called you. I want
Uh,
to find out if it is over in Shankara. In your school, is it over? Matrices is over?
yes, sir. Matrices and determinants is over, sir.
And determinants is also over, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the advantages, so everybody knows this chapter, and I hope you would have written a test also. So we will have a discussion rather than me teaching something. Okay. So before I start, if you guys can tell me what was the difficulty you had in matrices, based on that I will plan my session. What was tough in this? If someone can speak out. Someone from DAV?
Finding the inverse method.
Inverse using the row and column operation, right?
Yes, sir.
So actually that is removed from the syllabus, but still if you want, I can explain it, not an issue. Next. Anything else that was difficult? So this year they have deleted it. I'm sure you would have known another method to find an inverse also, which is called adjoint method, right? Okay. So anybody, anyone else? The challenges in this chapter? Nothing. Okay, then we'll go like this. Can someone tell me what exactly is a matrix and why are we studying this? What is the advantage of studying? You would have learned some algebraic operations and all, right? What exactly is a matrix? What is matrices? So what exactly is this chapter? Can someone give me a brief explanation of what it is? Where all do you apply? So we do apply it in everyday life, even without our knowledge. Can someone tell me what is a matrix? Leave its application also. Srivatsan, you. What is a matrix?
Sir, it's a kind of a table with elements in it.
Okay, you have something called as elements. Elements are nothing but you have some numbers in your hand. What do we do with that numbers?
We arrange them in rows and columns.
We arrange them in a format so called as rows and columns. So you use something in 2D, right? So let's try to visualize it differently. I know everybody knows how to add two matrices, multiply two matrices. Okay, let's think like this. Okay, can someone try to tell me what exactly is application? Where exactly do you see these matrices? Where exactly do we need this? I can give you an example. You see it in your phone also sometimes. So you see it in your phone. Like you go out, you like some location, what you do, you take a picture of it, right? So immediately when you see that, to look at the clarity of the picture, what do people do generally? What do we do? First, our fingers will go and try to do something. What do we do? To see how clear the picture is.
Try to adjust it.
Adjust in the sense, what do we do? You have your fingers, you will try to move it away. By doing that, what will happen? If I do it like this, you're actually zooming, right? So when you zoom, you will be able to find out the clarity of it till the maximum extent, till where you are able to zoom it, right? After that, what will happen? You will be able to find something. What is it?
Dots.
You will find some small boxes like this. So what are those boxes actually called as?
Pixels.
We call them as pixels. In photographic language, people call it as pixels, right? When the boxes start appearing, we say the picture got pixelated, right? Now the question is, okay, this is one of the options. So you people know what are pixels. I'll put another question. See, you would have heard about some, like say, electronic devices that are there. Like nowadays in iPhone and all, or even in other mobiles we have. Like you look at a mobile with a retina scanning, it is able to find that it is you and it will get unlocked. Right? Everybody knows this technology, right? So we can, previously and all what we used to do, we used to enter the password and all those things. Nowadays, you look at it, the phone gets unlocked. How is it able to do? How is the phone knowing that it is you who's looking into the camera? Why can't it let's say I'm looking at your mobile, why doesn't it get unlocked? Or you look into my mobile, it doesn't get unlocked. Why is it happening? How exactly is the software able to know? Are you guys able to understand
It forms a relation.
what relation is it? So how does it know? How does it store? See, some information, we simply say it is AI. Nowadays, this has become a word that is commonly used, artificial intelligence. Okay, I accept it. But this artificial intelligence, how are you giving it to that phone? You're writing some program, something is happening, something is running the back end. By you looking at it, what program is running at the back and how is it able to detect that it is your eyes? Maybe. So
it is projecting dots on your face, like face ID.
that's right. So, for example, see. So what exactly happened? You're able to see, right? You're able to see two pictures that I've done. I just wanted to try something different.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see if it works. So you're able to see a picture here and here. What exactly are you able to see? You're able to see an eye. You're able to see an eye, right? Now, see what I will do is, I will zoom it and see. What is it you're able to see?
Boxes.
You're able to see those boxes. What did we call now as?
Pixels.
Pixels.
Those boxes is what we called it as pixels. That's the English word which we know. But how does the software know that English word? English, it cannot understand English at all. Right? It can understand only zeros and ones. So what exactly will happen is, each box that you're able to see will have a number associated with it. See, for example, I'll try to create a relation. Understand, guys, why we are studying, you understand, then you can see the addition, subtraction, and all in a different process. If I put a coordinate axis like this, and if I give an origin, if I give you the origin as 0, 0, then will I be able to define the position of this pixel? If I consider the pixel to be a dot, will I be able to locate its position? It's somewhere on the y-axis. If I call it as 0, k, it has a position associated with it. Then what will be the position of this pixel? It will be 0, k minus 1. Then this will be 0, k minus 2, assuming that each box is of 1 centimeter. Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? Similarly, on the x-axis, it will be, let's say, L, 0. Then it will be L plus 1, 0. It keeps on going like this. Are you able to understand? So you can give coordinates. Similarly, if I ask about this white color box, will you be able to give it a coordinate?
Yes, sir.
In this law, you will be able to give a coordinate, right? So if you're trying to analyze this picture by giving coordinates, we are actually doing a small mistake. The mistake that you're doing is, coordinates can be given only to points, right? Which is a point. It should not have a finite size. But if you try to zoom and see, this box has a finite size associated with it. So we need to have another operation rather than following coordinate geometry to understand what exactly this is. So what we can do is, if you call the horizontal numbers as rows, and if you call the vertical objects as columns, then if you are able to speak about the row and the number, the column number that is associated with this pixel, then that kind of an arrangement is what we call it as a matrix. And in your computer science, you will read it under a topic called arrays. Right? Are you guys able to relate it? So this arrays and matrices are related. So matrix is nothing but a systematic arrangement of all the objects. In which form? Are you arranging it in 2-dimension or 3-dimension? So how many variables are you using? Rows and columns, 2 variables. So how many dimensions will we take into consideration?
2 dimension.
It's a 2-dimension. So if you're able to arrange the numbers in horizontal and vertical format such that each number represents a particular variable, then that kind of a systematic arrangement is what is called as a matrix. Right? Are you guys able to understand what I'm trying to say? You're able to understand why we are actually studying. So this is one of the applications. Actually, matrix has a lot of applications in today's world, especially in the world of, especially in the digital world. You have a lot of applications of it. One of the applications is what I explained. Right? So here certain examples are given. Those things you know. Suppose they have given like this. Radha has 15 notebooks and 6 pens. Okay, so this is a statement. If I ask you to put this statement, there are 3 statements here. Fauzia has 10 notebooks and 2 pens, and Simran has 13 notebooks and 5 pens. All these are statements. If I ask you to put these statements in a tabular column, what are you going to do? You will take the objects notebooks and pens, Radha, Fauzia, and Simran, the name of the people you would have written in the left, and the number of notebooks that are needed, the number of pens that are needed. You can do this in an Excel itself. So you're able to do it in an Excel, right? Excel also has rows and columns, right? So Excel also understands like this. When you say sum of the row, it adds all the numbers in that particular row and it will give you a final answer at the bottom. I'm not sure if you guys have used it. If not, you can try it as an example. Okay. So what are these horizontal called as? These are called as rows and the verticals are called as columns, right? So this is the first row, this is second row, and this is obviously third row. Okay, guys, tell me, how do we represent a matrix? What is the representation used for a matrix? How do we represent them? What
Square bracket.
variable? You use a square bracket. And what is the way? How is the variable written? Is the variable written in lowercase or uppercase?
Lowercase.
The elements are written in lowercase, whereas the matrix name is always written in the uppercase. So if I say matrix A is equal to this much, if I say it as 15, 6, 10, 2, 13, 5, what are all these numbers called as?
Elements.
All these are elements. So how do you represent an element? An element is generally represented with a smaller letter A, and you use a variable like this, I, J. What does this mean?
Row number and column.
So what is row number? I is row number or J is row number?
I is row.
I is row number and J is column number, right? So this is how we write it. A is equal, so every element is written as Aij. Now the question is, how are you going to write the matrix in that form? For that, we need to know something called as an order of a matrix. Like how we have an order for a differential equation, the matrix also has an order. So what do you call the order as order of a differential matrix? Sorry, order of a matrix as. So what do you mean by that? If suppose a matrix has m rows and n columns, then how will you report the order of it? How do we write it?
M cross N.
You can either call it as m cross n or we read it as m by n. Both are same. Okay. So a general way of representing a matrix is a square bracket with one such element, general element Aij, and the order here, where I is going to be between what? Where I is going to be greater than or equal to 1, means the number of rows should be greater than or equal to 1, and it should be less than or equal to how much value?
M.
Similarly, J should be greater than or equal to 1 and it should be less than or equal to n, where I and J belong to which set? They belong to the natural numbers. They don't belong to the integer set because they cannot be negative, right? So all these facts are known to you, right? So all these small details I'm skipping. So if suppose you want to represent this in a matrix form, how are you going to do? Consider the following information regarding the number of men and women workers in the factories 1, 2, and 3. So men workers are 30. In factory 1, there are 30 men workers and 25 women workers. In factory 2, there are 25 men workers and 31 women workers. In factory 3, there are 27 men workers and 26 women workers. So how do you write them in the matrix form? So matrix is represented as capital A is equal to, use a square bracket. So how many rows and how many columns are you going to get here?
3 rows, 2 columns.
Yes. So 30, 25, 25, 31, 27, 26. So you have 3 rows and 2 columns. Suppose I ask you a question like A12, what is your answer? So A12 means what is the meaning of it? The element which is the first row and second column. So what is the answer?
25.
25. It's also a known fact. Next. So if a matrix has 8 elements, what are the possible orders it can have? So when it has 8 elements, if I say a matrix has m rows and n columns, then how many elements are associated with it?
M cross N.
M cross n is the order,
M into N.
m into n. So multiply the number of rows and the columns, that will give you the number of elements that are present. So if there are 8 elements, what are all the possible natural number factors that you can think of it? 8, 1, 8, or 8, 1. Similarly, 2, 4, or 4, 2. So 3 doesn't work, 4 is over, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work. So these are all the possible orders, right? So when I say order, you can write them in the ordered fashion. Sorry. You will write the order as 1 cross 8 matrix is possible, 8 cross 1 is possible. Similarly, 2 cross 4 is possible, and 4 cross 2 is possible. I hope you guys understood what I meant. Right? Similarly, if they ask you to construct a 3 by 2 matrix whose elements are given by Aij is equal to half into I minus 3j, modulus of I minus 3j, what are we supposed to do? So when you need a 3 by 2 matrix, what are all the possible ordered pairs you will have in it? You will have first row, you will have A11, you will have first row second column, you will have second row first column, second row second column, you will have third row first column, third row second column, right? So A11, A12, A21, A22, A31, A32, right? So what are you going to do? In the place of I, you will substitute 1. In the place of j, you will substitute 1. You will be able to find A11. All those things are again known. So you're using the principle of mathematical induction to find it. Just substituting I and j in the place of, 1 and 1 in the place of I and j, right? That's the thing. Next. So what are all the different types of matrices you have? So what do you mean by a column matrix? Suppose in the question they say there is a column matrix existing. So what will be the order of a column matrix? So how do you define a column matrix, guys? Don't look at the definition there. You people know whatever you know, we'll discuss. So how do you define a column matrix?
It has one column.
Any matrix that has one column, and how many rows should it get restricted to?
Infinite rows, sir.
Infinity.
It have any number of rows, right? So if you have only one column associated with a matrix, then we call it as a column matrix. What will be the general order of a column matrix? It can have m number of rows, where m is a natural number, and one column, right? It should be m cross 1. Similarly, what is a row matrix? So just the opposite, which has only one row, but any number of columns. So to put it in simple terms, can I call column matrix as a vertical matrix? Similarly, can I call a row matrix as a horizontal matrix? Okay. Similarly, so for a row matrix, what will be the general order? One row and n number of columns. So the general order is 1 cross n. So what about a square matrix? It should have equal number of
Rows
rows and columns. So generally, the order of a square matrix is only represented as m. You don't write it as m cross n. Right? So you know all these things now. What is the diagonal matrix?
All the diagonal elements are equal.
So except diagonal elements, all other elements should be
Zero.
except the diagonal elements, all other elements should be 0. So which one? So for you to define diagonal, right? Diagonal is possible for a square and a rectangle as well, right? But here, for you to say that the elements are supposed to be 0, what kind of a matrix are you supposed to consider? will you be able to consider any kind of a matrix, or is there a restriction on it?
Requirement.
You need to consider a square matrix. A square matrix B, which is given by Bij, where M cross M is the order of it, is said to be a diagonal matrix if its non-diagonal elements are 0. Then it is a matrix. Then the matrix is said to be a diagonal matrix if Bij is equal to 0, where I is not equal to j. So, because what are the diagonal elements of the square matrix A1? If I say a matrix of order 3 by 3, okay, if I say a matrix of order 3 by 3, then what are all the diagonal elements? You will have A11, A22, and A33. In all the cases, I is equal to j. So if you have elements Aij is equal to 0, where I is not equal to j, then what can you say? All these elements are the elements other than the diagonal elements, right? So here the diagonal also, see, when I talk about a square, how do you take the diagonal? This can be taken or this can be taken. But which side diagonal is supposed to be non-zero? First one or second one? So this is second one.
First one.
The first one should be non-zero. The second one can be in any way. See, for example, if you take this diagonal, you have a 0 here and a 0 here. But if you take the first element, first diagonal, those are non-zero. Next. So what is a scalar matrix? So scalar matrix is a diagonal matrix if its diagonal elements are equal to are equal. So if in a diagonal matrix means it is understood it is a square matrix. So if in a square matrix it is a diagonal matrix and all the diagonal elements are equal, then that kind of a matrix is called as a scalar matrix. Next is identity matrix. So what do you mean by identity matrix? And this is very
values
yeah.
1.
So identity matrix is represented by the symbol L. Can you repeat it?
The scalar matrix which has the element equal to 1.
That's right. Right. So instead of saying a scalar matrix, what they have told in the textbook is it's a square matrix in which all the diagonal elements are 1 and other elements are 0. This identity matrix, where do you use it generally? You use it somewhere, right? In one of the operations you use it.
Inverse.
Sorry? When you want to find the inverse, we use the identity matrix concept. That at that point we will need it. Okay. So Aij is equal to 1, where I is equal to j. It is 0 if I is not equal to j. Means all the diagonal elements are 1, non-diagonal elements are 0. Okay. So we denote the identity matrix of order n by in, where it is clear from the context, we can simply write it as I itself. Whether it is of order 2 or order 3, whatever it is going to be, the diagonal elements are going to be 1 only. Generally, we write it as I. Sometimes in the question they can give you as in, that n will represent the order of the matrix. Right. So next, what is a zero matrix? Zero matrix is something similar to a null vector or something like a null set. Okay, a matrix is said to be a zero matrix or null matrix if all the elements are 0. Right? You can ask me, if all the elements are going to be 0, why are we even defining zero matrix? What do you think is the importance of the zero matrix? Can someone tell me? Let's see. Why are we even defining it when all the elements are 0? What is the purpose of it?
When we have to find a value of matrix in an equation, then it is useful.
You have to find the equation in the sense how.
Sir, if you add and subtract two matrices,
Okay.
and you need to define the values, say you subtract two equal matrices, you can't just say it's 0. By 0, you mean it's a zero matrix.
Sir?
It's a zero matrix.
Okay. Then why do you think we need identity matrix? You told that you will use it in inverse, right? Now I have certain questions in mind. See, this concept of inverse, we have learned it in the chapter before this also. What was the name of the chapter before this? Inverse
Trigonometric.
functions. Here also we are using inverse. Here also people are telling me inverse. What is the difference actually? Don't say it's a difference of function and matrix. No. What inverse are we studying actually? Here, you people are saying inverse node in this chapter. What inverse are you trying to speak about? If I give you a matrix A, if I ask you to define the inverse of it, then what is the definition you people are going to give? Somebody who knows can tell me. Since it is completed, I am just expecting an answer. What inverse are you trying to talk about? What is the mathematical condition for that inverse to be defined? Okay, I'll forget about matrix. Let's make it simple. Okay. I give you a number 5. Okay. I'm asking you, tell me the inverse of it. What will you say? Is my question even valid?
No.
Why?
Additive inverse and multiplicative inverse.
Perfect. That is what I was expecting. So, what kind of inverse am I asking? If I ask, I have to be specific, right? If I ask you additive inverse of something, what are you going to say? What is the additive
Minus
inverse?
5.
-5.
-5. So, additive inverse tells me that to a given number, if you are able to add another number such that the output comes out as 0, then this is A, then this will be the additive inverse of A. Okay, if I take it as x, this is the additive inverse of x. That is nothing but -x. Now, are you guys able to relate it to 0 matrix? So, if I give you a matrix A, and if I ask you what is the additive inverse of that matrix, what are you going to see? It's just the negative of that matrix. At that time, for me to define, when I add a matrix with another matrix, will I get a number or a matrix?
Matrix.
Matrix.
You get a matrix, right? At that time, you cannot say if a matrix is given and minus A is the additive inverse matrix, which is giving you a 0. It doesn't make sense. It should give you a 0 matrix. That is the reason why we are defining it. Purida. Or else it is of no use actually. Why do we need to define something with 0 which has no value? I mean, am I clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, 0 matrix is used when you need to find the additive inverse of a matrix. But you people are saying some inverse. What inverse is this? If A inverse, what you're speaking?
Multiplicative.
Multiplicative inverse. So, if I give you a number 5 and ask you what is the multiplicative inverse of it, what are you going to say?
1 by
1
5.
by 5.
So, 1 by 5. Then what is the definition of multiplicative inverse? If I multiply a number with another number, what is the product supposed to come out as?
1.
1.
So here 1 is represented by whom?
Identity matrix.
I.
That is the reason why this is important. So if I have a matrix A, if I multiply with its inverse, it should give me an I. Okay, I cannot say it will give me a 1. Because matrix multiplied with a matrix is definitely going to give me another matrix only. It will not give me a number. Correct? That is why these two matrices are important. Are you guys able to visualize it? Right? Now let's try to understand certain basic operations. When I talk about two matrices, like see, you would have learned all these things in complex numbers also. I give you two complex numbers, I ask you to find when are these two complex numbers equal. What will you say? The real part is equal to real part, imaginary part is equal to imaginary part. Similarly, if I give you two sets, I am asking you, when are these two sets equal? You'll be able to find it, right? If all the elements are the same and it has equal number of elements, then we say both the sets are equal. In a similar way, equality of matrices means what? If I give you two matrices, is it necessary it has to be a square matrix? If I give you two random matrices, that is, it can be a rectangular matrix or a square matrix, where A is equal to Aij and B is equal to Bij, are said to be equal, provided what condition is satisfied. The first condition that should be satisfied is they should be of the same order. Secondly, if each element of A is equal to the corresponding element of B, that is Aij is equal to Bij. Try to understand, right? Is equal to matrix Bij. Matrix Aij is equal to matrix Bij, provided the number of the order is the same and every element is the same. Okay. So by then you can find out the equality of matrix. So generally they will not give you saying that prove that these matrices are equal. Generally what they will do is they'll give you two matrices with some variables and they'll expect you to find the variables. For example, if they give you these matrices, so what are they expecting? Find the values of A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. So what will you do, guys? Since they have told both the matrices are equal, then X plus 3 is equal to 0. Z plus 4 is equal to 6. Correct? 3y minus 2 is equal to 2y minus 7. If you do these kind of operations, then you will be able to find out the value of X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. So this part, I'm sure you people can handle it. Similarly, find the values of A, B, C, and D from the following equations. What will you write? Let's be quick, no? So 2A plus B, how much?
4.
4. So A minus 2B is minus 3. So like this, you can compare all the elements, 5C corresponding elements. 4C plus 3D is equal to 24. Now see. 2A plus B, 5C minus D is equal to 4 minus 3, 11, 24. Find the value of ABC. What will be the answer?
No, we can't find, sir.
Obviously, my question is wrong. Why? Because the order is not the same. Here you have how much? You have 2 by 1 matrix. You have a column matrix. Here you have a square matrix of order 2. Right. So this exercise, I hope everyone is confident, right?
Yes, sir.
Now comes the next question, that is operation of matrices. Okay. So when I talk about operation of matrices, again, you can do the basic fundamental operations. What are they? Addition. So when I say addition of two matrices, see, matrices is plural, right? Matrix is singular. So addition of two matrices means, what are we supposed to do? So what are the conditions to get satisfied?
Order must be equal.
Order.
Order must be equal. So here it's given. So if you have a matrix A is equal to Aij and B is equal to Bij, or two matrices of the same order n by n or m cross n, then the sum of the two matrices A and B is defined as some other matrix C, which is Cij, which is m cross n, where Cij, that is each element in the matrix C, is equal to the sum of the corresponding elements in matrix A and matrix B. Right? So just for practice, tell me what is the answer?
2 plus root 3.
2 plus root 3. A matrix of 2 plus root 3. Then
1 plus
root,
root.
yeah, 1 plus root 5. Minus 1 plus 1, 0. So 2 minus 2, 0. 3 plus 3, 6. 0 plus half is half. Right? That's the answer. Okay. Next is multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. So what do you mean by multiplication of a matrix by a scalar? Here I'm not talking about multiplication between two matrices.
Multiplying a constant number to a matrix.
Okay, if I multiply a constant number to a matrix, what will happen? See, for example, I have a matrix A is equal to 3i 1.5 root 5 7 minus 3 205. Then if I ask you what is 3 times this matrix, what will you say?
Three A, sir.
Multiply the elements with 3.
So should we multiply all the elements with 3 or only the particular, only row with 3 or column with 3?
All the elements.
All the elements.
All the elements will be multiplied with 3. Whereas in determinants, it's something reverse, right? We have to have this in mind. So you will multiply all the elements with 3. Next is negative of a matrix. What do we say? Negative of a matrix is nothing but the additive inverse of that matrix, right? We generally don't use that term. By now, you should have understood what is the negative of a matrix. So negative of a matrix is denoted by minus A. Means, if I give you a matrix A, if you multiply that matrix with minus 1, then we call it as the negative of the matrix. Or what can we call it as according to the concept we know? Additive inverse of a matrix. But generally, it is not used, okay, for you to understand. Okay. So what are all the basic operations we did till now? We added two matrices, multiplied a given matrix with a scalar. Then we have difference of matrices, right? So what do you mean by difference of matrix? So you have to subtract the corresponding elements of the second matrix from the corresponding elements of the first matrix. As simple as that, right? It's a basic operation that you can do. So they have given a matrix 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. Matrix B is 3 minus 1, 3 and minus 1, 0, 2. Find 2A minus B. What are we supposed to do? Multiply the first matrix with 2. So you will get 2, 4, 6, 4, 6, 2 minus 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1, 0, 2. So what is the answer, guys? Minus 1, minus 5, 3, 5, 6, 0. Right?
It's plus
Next.
5, sir.
Where did I miss? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Next is the properties of matrix addition. So what are all the properties it is going to follow? It follows commutative law, it follows associative law, and it follows you have existence of additive identity and the existence of additive inverse. Right? So what is commutative law? If you have two matrices A plus B, if you add A plus B in any order, the answer will be the same. A plus B is the same as B plus A. Similarly, what is associative law? You have three matrices. If you add A and B first and add it to C, or if you add A to B plus C, the output will be the C. Right? This is associative law. Now, existence of additive identity. What is the meaning of it? If you have A is equal to Aij, B M cross N matrix, and 0B M cross N matrix, M cross N 0 matrix, then A plus 0 should be equal to 0 plus A is equal to A. In other words, this O is called as the additive inverse for matrix addition. Sorry, additive identity for matrix addition. Then existence of additive inverse. If I give you a matrix A, then what is going to be the inverse, additive inverse of it? It's minus K. Because A plus of minus A is going to be 0. So here by now you should have understood. Here we are saying 0 matrix. Where is it? Here also we are saying 0 matrix. Right? This 0 matrix is what they are trying to talk about. Guys, are you able to connect the dots? Next is properties of scalar multiplication of a matrix. So you have two matrices A and B again. You have a scalar K and L, some numbers, okay, they can be positive or negative. So K into A plus B is the same as K times A plus K times B. If we do K plus L times A, it is K times A plus L times A. If you do K into A plus B, it is, so this is the proof actually. So if you do K into A plus B, you're going to get Ka plus Kb. K plus L into A, it is going to be Ka plus La. These are the proofs actually. Okay, let's do a problem. Example 8. So you have a matrix of order 3 by 2 and other matrix is of the order 3 by 2. Then find X. So if A and B are the matrices given, then find the matrix X such that 2A plus 3X is equal to 5B. So how will you assume the matrix X to be? So this problem is to show you the application of all the properties. 2A plus 3X is equal to 5B. Now what can we do on both the sides? So instead of taking the 2A to the other side, what we will do is we will add the negative of that matrix on both the sides. So 2A plus 3X minus 2A is the same as 5B minus 2A. So that 2A here and 2A here will get cancelled. Right? So what will you have? O plus 3X is equal to 5B minus 2A. Right? Where minus 2A is what? It's the additive inverse of 2a, right? Now what can we do, guys? So 0 plus additive identity, right? Any matrix added to its additive inverse, additive identity is going to give back the same matrix. So 0 plus 3x will give you 3x, which is equal to 5b minus 2a. Then what are we supposed to do on both the sides? Divide with 3 on both the sides, you will have 1 by 3 into 5b minus 2a. So to find x, what are we supposed to do? Just find 5b minus 2a divided by 3. You can ask me, are we supposed to show the steps like this? Yes, you are supposed to do, because each step is going to carry mark. You could have actually written like this also. 3x is equal to 5b minus 2a. So x will be equal to 5b minus 2a divided by 3. But here you are dealing with matrices, not numbers, not just scalar values. So you have to show all these operations along with the reasons where they will carry marks. Be careful with it. Okay. So how to do this problem? Find x and y. If x plus y is equal to 5209 and x minus y is equal to 3601, 0 minus 1, then how will you find the value of x? Just add both the matrices. What will you get? 2x. See, the way we are going to solve is something similar to linear equations. So what will you get? 8, 8, 0, 8. So what will be the value of x? 4, 4, 0, 4. Right. Similarly, you can find out the value of y also. This part I am leaving it to you. You can do it. Okay, let's do this problem. So they have given a statement and we need to find the matrix and find the answer. Okay, so this is an application based question, guys. So since this year they have given you case study based question also, or application based, these kind of questions might come. So be careful. So two farmers, Ramakrishnan and Gurucharan Singh, cultivate only 3 varieties of rice, namely Basmati, Permal and Nora. The sale in rupees of these varieties of rice by both the farmers in the month of September and October are given by the following matrices A and B. So September sales in rupees is given like this. So A is what? A represents the September sales in rupees. So Basmati, how much did he earn? He earned 10,000 rupees. Permal, he earned 20,000. Nora, on Permal, he earned 30,000 rupees. Who? Ramakrishna. Similarly, 50,000, 30,000 and 10,000 respectively by Gurucharan Singh. So October sales are also given. Now the question is, find the combined sales in September and October for each farmer. How will you find?
Add both
Just
matrices.
add both matrices. When you add, you're going to get 15,000 in the first row, first column. What does that 15,000 represent? What is the meaning of the 15,000? So this 15,000 is the total sales done by whom?
Ramakrishna.
Ram Kishan are there. Okay, Ram Kishan in the month of September and October. On which rice? On the variety Basmati. Similarly, Permal, how much did he earn? He did 30,000 sales, right? So this part is easy. Next, find the decrease in sales from September to October. So find the decrease in sales means you have to subtract both. From where to where? From September to October means you have to subtract October from September, right? So how much will the answer be? 5,000, 10,000, 24,000. Next, 30,000, 20,000 and 0. So what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this 5,000?
decrease in sales of Ramkishan
Yes,
from
it is the
September to
decrease.
October.
Ramkishan has actually lost 5,000 rupees in the sales compared to September, October on basmati rice.
Basmati.
Okay, so these are all the types of questions that they can ask. Third, if both the farmers receive 2% profit on gross sales, compute the profit for each farmer and for each variety sold in October. They're asking us to compute only the profit, not the sales. So read the question. If both the farmers receive 2% profit on gross sales, compute the profit for each farmer and for each variety sold in October month. So how much is the profit they are making in the month of October? 2% of how much? 5,000. It is 100. 100. Similarly on this rice, on 10,000, how much is the profit he's making? So tell me one thing, guys. Should I write 5,000? Should I write 100 or 5,100?
100.
Why?
Because in the question they asked only the profit.
Profit. When should you write it as 5,100?
Yeah. When they ask the total amount after the profit.
Yes. When they ask sales plus profit, that time we are supposed to write 5,100. So here it is only profit. So it is 100. Similarly, how much is the other amount? 200. Huh? So I think this calculation you people can do 2 by 100 into 6,000. All those things you do. Right. Now comes the next topic, that is multiplication of matrices. So the previous one was multiplication of a scalar with a matrix. Here you will be given two matrices and you're supposed to multiply it. So this also tell me, guys, when will you be able to multiply the matrices? When is it defined? Like when I asked you when will you add two matrices, you people told me order is supposed to be the same. In a similar way, when is there a feasibility for you to multiply two matrices? What conditions are supposed to be satisfied?
When the number of columns of the first matrix is equal to the number of rows of the second matrix.
So if it is m by n and if it is k by l, what should get satisfied? If this is the first matrix A and B, if I want to find A into B, what should get satisfied?
N equal to K.
K should be equal to n. So if it is n by l, so when you do AB, what will be the output? When you do AB, what is going to be the output? What is going to be the output matrix order? It will be M cross. It will be M cross L. This one cross the last one. First one cross last one. N will get eliminated. Right? So this will be the order. Now tell me, is operation BA possible? Is operation BA possible? Operation BA means N cross L. So B is having order N cross L and A is having order M cross N. Is it possible for you to do BA?
No, sir.
You can only do AB, right? So that is why it is a very important concept. The product of two matrices A and B is defined if the number of columns of A is equal to the number of rows of B. Okay. If that is the case, what is going to be the output matrix? That also we need to understand. The matrix C is given as 1, -1, 2, and 0, 3, 4, and D is given as 2, 7, -1, 1, 5, and -4. Then what is CD, guys? So the operation is RC. RC means multiply the element in the row with the corresponding element in the column of the other matrix. So what will be the answer? 1 into 2. I hope you all know this, right? That's why I'm going a little fast.
Yes, sir.
You know it, right? Yeah. So CD is equal to, tell me what is the output? So this is of order water. 2 rows and 3 columns. So 2 by 3. Here what is the order? You have 3 rows and 2 columns, 3 by 2. So operation, the multiplication operation between them is possible. So what will be the output matrix? It will be a square matrix of order 2. What is that square matrix value?
Two plus 1 plus 10.
So 2. So what are we supposed to do? You take 1 minus 1 and 2, multiply 2, corresponding numbers should be multiplied with 2 minus 1, 5, and they should be added, right? So 1 into 2 is 2, plus minus 1 into minus 1, plus 2 into 5. What will be the next element? Next element in the row, not in the column. 1 into 7, minus 1, sorry, plus of minus 1 into 1, plus 2 into minus 4. Similarly, 0 into 2 plus 3 into minus 1 plus 5 into 4. Next, 0 into 7 plus 3 into 1 plus 4 into minus 4. What will be the answer, guys? Whatever it is, you find it out. Okay. So I hope I can skip this part also. Right. So here, one important point is AB is never equal to BA. Why will it happen? Because the order will keep changing. Had A and B been square matrix, then AB will be equal to BA. If they are rectangular matrix, if the value of M and K and L are different, then AB will not be equal to BA. For example, in this case, what is A? What is the order of A? 2 by 3. Order of B? 3 by 2. AB is possible? AB is possible or not?
Yes, sir.
AB is possible. BA?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in this case, you have the advantage of finding AB and BA. And when you do a comparative study, what are we supposed to prove? You have to prove that AB is not equal to BA. That part you can do it. Right? Right. Next. Next is properties of multiplication of matrices. So the associative law, it doesn't follow commutative law because AB is not equal to BA. So what does associative law mean? If A, B, C are matrices where the multiplication between them in a proper order is possible, then you multiply A with BC or AB with C, it will give you the same answer. Next is distributive law. So distributive law is a combination of multiplication and addition. If you have three matrices A, B, and C, where you are multiplying A with B plus C, then it is equal to AB plus AC. Similarly, A plus B into C is equal to AB plus BC. Okay. The existence of multiplicative identity. For every square matrix, this is where the concept starts. For every square matrix, there exists an identity matrix of the same order such that I into A is equal to A into I will be equal to the matrix itself. So that's what I told you, right? If you multiply a matrix with its inverse, it should give you an identity matrix of the same order. Guys, is there any doubt here? If I'm going fast, please let me know. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So problems part you will take care, right? Is there any problem that you have tried but you didn't get? You want me to do it here?
No, sir.
This problem maybe we can try. So A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 3 minus 2, 1, 4 to 1. Then show that A cube minus 23A minus 40I is equal to 0. So how to do? So they have given a square matrix. Since they have given I here, I is defined only for a square matrix. You need to be very careful. For example, if the question was like this 1, 2, 3, 3 minus 2, 1, and they say A cube minus 23A minus 40I is equal to 0, prove this. Is it practically possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why? Because it's not a square matrix. At that time, you cannot define what is the identity matrix, right? So identity matrix is defined only for square. So you need to ensure that all these things are satisfied. Maybe they can ask this kind of a question and 1 mark and the answer can be none of these. You will sit and waste your time calculating all those things. Don't do that, okay? So for A cube, what you can do is first find out A square. Once you find out A square, multiply that with A, that is going to give you A cube. Right? So once you get A cube, have that matrix, then multiply this matrix with 23, sorry, minus 23, because the question has a minus. You multiply this matrix with minus 23, minus 40 into I. I is how much? 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is the identity matrix. Everything can be substituted here. That will give you the answer. Okay. So I hope you would have already completed this exercise also, right? I'm not doing it, but if you have any doubt, you can approach me personally also. Next is transpose of a matrix. So what do you mean by transpose of a matrix? So whenever you read a particular definition, right, you need to ask one important question. Is this particular operation defined for a square matrix or is it defined for any matrix? Okay, because these are the only two restrictions you have throughout. So transpose of a matrix means what? So here we'll be learning about, please.
Changing rows into columns and columns into rows.
It's nothing but interchanging, right? It's interchanging the rows and columns of a given matrix. So if I give you A, so A is given 3, 5, root 3, 1, 0, minus 1 by 5, which is a 3 by 2 matrix. If I ask you what is A transpose, what will you tell me? 3 root 3 0 means make this column as row and make the second column as row. So if the order of a matrix is m by n, then the order of the transpose of the matrix will be n by m. Right? So similar to other matrices, you have properties of transpose of a matrix also. So what does it say? The first one is, if the transpose of A transpose is found, what will you get? The transpose of A transpose is found, what are you going to get? You will get back the original matrix, right? So K times A transpose is equal to, K doesn't have, so there is no concept of transpose for a real number. So real number doesn't have any transpose that will come out of the operation. So K times A transpose. So if you find the transpose of a matrix and multiply with K, is the same as multiplying the matrix with K and finding its transpose. Similarly, A plus B whole transpose is equal to A transpose plus B transpose. But the last one is where we need to be careful, because this is asked in few problems where you need to prove stuffs. What is that? If you multiply two matrices A and B and you find the inverse of it, it is the same as inverse of the second matrix into inverse of the first matrix. Why this is happening is because logically what will happen, since the number of rows and columns are getting interchanged, the order itself will get interchanged such that you have the feasibility of doing B dash and A dash. Right. So next is something related to transpose of matrix, symmetric and skew symmetric matrix. What do you mean by that? So what do you mean by a skew symmetric matrix?
Transpose
Sorry.
of a matrix is equal to original matrix.
Actually, I asked you what is skew symmetric. Skew symmetric is something else. Did I ask skew symmetric or symmetric? You told what is symmetric, right? So if you have
Negative
a
of
matrix,
transpose.
yes. But here, important condition to be satisfied is for you to define the symmetric and skew symmetric or symmetricity of a matrix, you need only a square matrix. Right? Because you're trying to equate the matrix to its transpose itself. Generally, what will happen in the case of finding the transpose of matrix, the order will get changed. If it is a rectangular matrix, order will get changed. If that is happening, will you be able to equate them?
No, sir.
No, right? So that is why it is defined only for a square matrix. So for a square matrix, if you have A and you find the transpose, if they both are coming out as the same value, then these two matrices are said to be symmetric in nature. If the matrix comes out as a negative of its transpose, then it is called as a skew symmetric matrix. Right? So next theorem is, for any square matrix A with real numbers, A plus A transpose is symmetric and A minus A transpose is a skew symmetric matrix. There is a theorem which we need to remember. So you have a square matrix A, which is made up of all the real numbers. Then the matrix added to its transpose will be what? Will be a symmetric matrix. The matrix added to the negative of its transpose will be a skew symmetric matrix. Right? So how do we prove them? If suppose I add A and A transpose, let's say the output is B. Then when can I say A plus A transpose is a symmetric matrix? So what is the definition? So since A plus A transpose is B, A plus A transpose can be a symmetric matrix if B transpose is equal to B. That is what we need to prove, right? So when I say A plus A transpose is B, let's find out what is B transpose. What is B transpose, guys? It is A plus A transpose, the whole transpose. But there is a property for transpose. Where is it? A plus B, the whole transpose is equal to A transpose plus B transpose. Similarly, what will happen here? It will be A transpose plus A transpose, the transpose of A transpose. So that will be A dash plus A. So A dash plus A is the same as A plus A dash from the commutative law, which is nothing but B. So B dash is equal to B. That's why we call it as a symmetric matrix. Similarly, the other one you can prove it. This theorem is an important one. So sometimes what they will ask is, express the square matrix in terms of its symmetric and skew symmetric matrix. So how will you do that? So if I give you a matrix A, can I write it as 2A divided by 2? So this will be half into A plus A, right? So half into, I will add a transpose and subtract the same transpose. Now whole thing is same. So half into A plus A transpose plus half into A minus A transpose. So A plus A transpose is symmetric, A minus A transpose is skew symmetric. So you can write the given matrix in terms of symmetric and skew symmetric matrix like this. So for example, they have asked here, express the matrix as the sum of symmetric and skew symmetric matrix. So B is there, no? Find B plus B transpose, find B minus B transpose, then write B is equal to half into B plus B transpose plus half into B minus B transpose. Okay, so that part I'm leaving it to you. This part onwards, it is not there. But if you still want me to explain, I will do it. Not an issue. So elementary operation, the transformation method is removed. But if you want to learn inverse, you have the adjoint method, which is a simpler one that you solve your purpose. But if you still want me to explain, I will do it. You guys tell me. Okay. So with this concept, this chapter is actually over. So you have only the symmetric and skew symmetric matrix. I'm not sure if I went fast or slow, but is there any doubt, guys?
No, sir.
Clear, right? So you guys can try the problems. If you have any doubt, you can approach me personally. Okay. Harini, it was you, right, who asked the elementary operations. Harini, are you there? Okay. So tomorrow we will see determinants, and one more class we will finish LPP. So these problems you guys can try. Okay. So if there is no doubt, we can wind up. Just wait for a minute.